The moment that notification popped up on Snapchat, and I swear, everything inside me just froze. You ever get that weird gut feeling, the one that tells you something's not right before your brain even catches up? That's exactly what hit me. It wasn't a normal notification. No name I recognized, no friendly Bitmoji, no streak icon. Just a dark profile with a username that looked like someone smashed the keyboard, random letters, random numbers. And yet it was there, lighting up my phone like it had been waiting for me. At first, I wanted to ignore it. I mean, it's late, I'm tired, probably just a spam account, right? But curiosity, yeah, it's dangerous. I opened it, and the first message, it didn't feel like a joke. It didn't feel like some kid trolling. It was just 4 simple words. I see you. I laughed, like, really, that's the best you've got. But the laugh came out shaky, nervous. Because deep down I didn't like it. I text my friends dumb stuff all the time, but this, it didn't feel playful. It felt personal, like they weren't just talking to anyone, they were talking to me, and here's the thing, the timing was too perfect. I had literally just turned off the lights. The glow from my phone was the only thing in the room. The shadows stretched across my walls, the clock ticking in the background. And that's when it hit me. How could this random account just happen to message me now, at this exact second? I tried brushing it off, maybe a bot, maybe some glitch, but then, another notification, my phone buzzed in my hand. This time, it wasn't just text, it was a snap, and when I tapped it open, my blood turned to ice. It was a picture. Not just any picture, it was my street, my actual street, with the same crooked streetlight flickering in the corner, the same old car parked outside. It wasn't some random stock image. This was fresh, taken seconds ago. My heart dropped into my stomach. I felt my mouth go dry, and in that moment, I knew whoever was on the other end of that account wasn't some troll sitting in another country. They were here, right outside, so there I am, sitting in bed, clutching my phone like it's some kind of lifeline. My mind is racing. How did this stranger know my street? I mean, it had to be a coincidence, right? Maybe they just Googled some random photo. But no, the more I stared at the snap, the more I realized this wasn't just any photo. The detail was too sharp, the lighting was too fresh. The sky in the picture matched exactly how it looked outside my window in that very moment. I sat up straighter, suddenly hyper, aware of my surroundings. Every creak of the house felt louder. The hum of the ceiling fan sounded sinister. My brain was screaming at me to lock the doors, pull the blinds, call someone, but I just sat there, frozen. Then ping, another snap. My fingers trembled as I slid it open, and this one was worse. It was my house. Not the street, not the block, my actual house, my exact window glowing faintly with the light from my phone. I could see my own silhouette through the glass, hunched over, staring at the screen. I swear, in that moment, the air left my lungs. My stomach knotted. I wasn't just being watched. I was being watched right then, right there. Whoever this was, they weren't far. They were close enough to see me, close enough to capture me in real time. Panic set in, my first thought. Call a friend. But then I hesitated. What if it was a prank? What if I looked stupid for freaking out? So instead, I tried to play it cool. I typed back, "Nice try, creep, you're not scaring me." Sent it with a fake laugh emoji like I was totally unbothered. But inside, my hands were slick with sweat. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it might break through my ribs. I tried convincing myself maybe it's just a hacker. Maybe they pulled an image from Google Maps. Maybe, but deep down, I knew better. Because then the sound came, a knock, soft at first, like someone was testing the glass, then louder, more deliberate, the kind of knock that wasn't asking permission. It was announcing itself, every muscle in my body locked up. My phone slipped from my hand onto the blanket, buzzing as another notification came through, but I couldn't move. Couldn't even look at the screen. My eyes were glued to the window, and in the silence of that dark room, one thought echoed louder than anything else: they're here. But what happened next? That's where everything went wrong, and that's where everything started to unravel. I sat there, frozen, the sound of that knock still echoing in my head. You know when fear takes over so badly that even your breathing feels too loud. That was me. I didn't dare move. Didn't dare blink. For a split second, I convinced myself maybe it was just the wind, maybe a branch tapping the glass. But then, ping, another notification lit up my phone, and I don't know why, but instead of ignoring it, I reached for it. My hand was trembling so badly I nearly dropped the thing. I unlocked the screen, slid the snap open, and instantly wished I hadn't. This time, it wasn't just my street, it wasn't just my house, it was my window, the same window right next to me, glowing faintly with that eerie phone light. And in the picture, I could see myself, my outline, my hunched shoulders, my head bent over the phone, completely unaware that someone was watching, photographing, documenting. My heart slammed in my chest so hard it hurt. The air in my room felt heavy, suffocating, like it was pressing down on me. Every instinct told me to scream, to run, to do something, but I couldn't. I just stared at the screen, feeling my hands grow slick with sweat, feeling my pulse race so fast it made me dizzy. And then another snap arrived. I didn't want to look, but I couldn't stop myself. I opened it. This time the photo was closer. My window filled the frame, and right at the edge, barely visible in the shadows, was a hand, pressed flat against the glass. That's when I realized this wasn't some faraway stalker. This wasn't a prank. Whoever was behind this account, they were right there. Inches away from me, I stumbled back from the window, my body moving before my brain even caught up. The floor creaked beneath me. My breathing grew ragged, fast, uncontrollable. I whispered to myself, "It's not real, it's not real." But then came the sound that shattered any last shred of denial. Another knock, louder, harder. This time it rattled the glass. I clutched my phone like it could somehow protect me, my thumb hovering over the call button. But before I could press it, another snap came through. I opened it with shaking hands, and I'll never forget what I saw. It wasn't just a window this time, it was a video, and in the shaky, grainy clip, the camera zoomed slowly until a shadowy figure came into frame. Tall, still, watching, but here's the part that made my stomach drop. Behind him in the distance there was another one. I couldn't breathe. My chest felt tight, like every inhale had turned to glass. That video on my phone played on a loop, each frame worse than the last. The camera zooming closer, the dark figure by my window motionless, silent, and then, behind him, that second shadow. Just standing there, waiting, my thumb hovered over the screen. Should I close it, call someone, run? My body wouldn't listen. My knees locked. My heart pounded against my ribs like it wanted to break out and run without me. The room felt different now, colder, like the heat had been sucked out of the air. Even the hum of the ceiling fan sounded strange, like a whisper just out of earshot. My ears rang with that heavy silence, broken only by the faint buzzing of my phone. I finally managed to whisper to myself, "This isn't real, this isn't real," over and over like a prayer. But the video kept playing, and every time it looped, it seemed like the figures were closer, like they were moving without moving. I crept toward the blinds, each step slower than the last. My hands were slick with sweat, my fingers trembling so hard I could barely grip the fabric. Against every instinct screaming, "Don't look," I pulled the blinds just enough to peek outside. Nothing. Just darkness, my reflection staring back at me with wide, terrified eyes. For a moment, relief washed over me. Maybe it was all in my head. Maybe someone had edited old photos. Maybe, just maybe, I wasn't actually in danger. And then my phone buzzed again. Another snap. I opened it. This time, no picture, no text, just a short, shaky video. And as it played, my stomach turned to ice. It was me, not from my phone, from outside, from somewhere in the yard. The camera creeping closer to my window, the glow of my phone in my hands like a target, and right at the end of the clip, someone's breath fogging up the glass. I stumbled back so fast I nearly tripped. My pulse roared in my ears, drowning out everything. I wanted to scream, but nothing came out. I ran to the door, hand on the lock, but stopped, because what if they were at the door too? My brain spun in circles, panic pressing down harder and harder. My phone buzzed again. I didn't want to look. I didn't want to, but I did. The snap opened to a single frame. Dark, grainy, my window completely black now, and in the center of that darkness, barely visible but unmistakable, was a face. Pale, expressionless, inches from the glass, and then the video cut out. I stared at the screen, frozen. The reflection of my own horrified face staring back, the silence in the room thick enough to choke on. That's when I realized they weren't just watching, they were already here. My entire body was shaking now. Not just my hands, but my legs, my jaw, everything. I could feel my heartbeat in my throat. It wasn't a rhythm anymore, it was a hammer. I backed away from the window, every step slow, like if I moved too quickly, something would lunge out of the dark and grab me. I grabbed my phone and did the only thing I could think of. I blocked the account, just slammed my finger against block, like that button was a lifeline. The little notification popped up, account blocked. I closed the app, shut my phone, tossed it onto the bed like it was burning. And then I waited. The room was dead silent except for my breathing, heavy, shallow. I stared at the door. I stared at the window. I stared at the shadows on my walls until my eyes watered. Minutes crawled by. Slowly, my heartbeat started to slow. My shoulders loosened. Maybe, just maybe, it was over. Then buzz. The vibration was so loud in the quiet that it made me jump. I stared at my phone like it was a live grenade. The screen lit up, but it wasn't Snapchat this time. It wasn't any app. It was a text message, 4 words. Look behind you. I stopped breathing completely. The air in my room shifted. I swear it actually changed. Heavy, cold, like something was standing there, drawing the warmth out of the space. I could feel the tiniest movement of air across the back of my neck, like someone exhaling. I didn't want to turn around. I wanted to run, to scream, to smash my phone, to wake up, to be anywhere but here. My hands were trembling so hard I could barely hold onto anything. My eyes burned with tears I didn't even realize were forming. I whispered to myself, barely audible, "There's no one there, there's no one there," but even as I said it, my skin crawled. Goosebumps covered my arms. My instincts were screaming. And then, something moved in the reflection of my phone screen. Just a flicker, a shape behind me that shouldn't be there. My stomach dropped. I couldn't stop myself. Slowly, so slowly, I started to turn my head. Every inch felt like an eternity. I could hear my pulse in my ears. The floor creaked under my weight. I turned, and what I saw, that's where everything changed. I don't think I'll ever forget what I saw when I finally turned around. The room was dark, shadows stretching across every corner, but right there, in the faint glow from my phone, I thought I saw movement. Just a flicker, like someone slipping out of sight the second I looked. My breath caught in my throat. I spun around fully, scanning every inch of the room, the closet door, the corner by the desk, the space beneath the window. Nothing, completely empty, but it didn't feel empty. You know that feeling when you know you're not alone. Like eyes are crawling all over you, even if you can't see them. That's exactly what it felt like. I grabbed a pillow, clutching it like a shield, and backed toward the door. Every step creaked, every shadow looked alive, and then my phone buzzed again. I nearly dropped it. My hands were slick, trembling, but I forced myself to look. Another snap, no name, no profile picture, nothing. Just a dark photo. At first, I couldn't even tell what I was looking at. I had to squint, tilt the screen, adjust my eyes. And then it hit me it was my room, the same angle I was standing in right then, except the photo was taken from behind me. I swear my blood ran cold, my knees buckled, that was it. That was the breaking point. I bolted out of the room, down the hall, lights flicking on one by one as I ran. I locked myself in the bathroom, back against the tub, clutching my phone like it was the only thing tethering me to reality. For the rest of the night, I didn't move. Every creak of the house made me jump. Every buzz of my phone twisted my stomach. I didn't dare check another snap, didn't dare even peek out the window again, and when the sun finally rose, I was still there. Shaking, exhausted, but alive to this day. I don't know what it was. A stalker, a hacker, something else entirely. I'll never know, but I do know this Snapchat has never felt safe again. Every random ad, every late night ping makes my stomach twist. So if you ever get a snap from someone you don't know, especially late at night, maybe think twice before opening it. Because the next picture, the next video, the next message, it might be meant for you. Safe to say I'm never opening Snapchat at 3 a.m. again. But hey, if you survived this little nightmare with me, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and let me know in the comments what's your scariest app experience. Who knows, maybe your story will be the next one I animate. Until then, keep your phone close, and whatever you do, don't look behind you.